Hey everyone, this is Dr. Lusheen, and this is my final lecture for Safety 388, Occupational Safety and Health Standards and Application. So what I want to start out with is just kind of reflect on the past 5-6 weeks. I know it has gone by in a blink of an eye. That rhymed. I'm a poet, didn't even know it. So I just want to kind of I've been reflecting a lot for like the past 3 days on what I wanted to cover here, and I think I have a good lesson to be learned. So here's been my summer pretty much. So June 2nd, this was the back of my yard. Plan is we wanted to put in a shed, but what we wanted to do is, God, our grass was in such great shape in the spring. What we want to do is put in a concrete slab. And so hired a local guy, contractor to do that. This was 10 days before the course opened. So I was neck deep in updating the course and going to campus, recording lectures, building things. Here we are, June 3rd, the next day. So they showed up with their Bobcat. They destroyed my yard. I wasn't expecting the level of devastation to my grass, but so they prepped it, and then on the 6th they turned it over to us, and this is the condition in which they gave it to us. I wasn't expecting that either. I was expecting a nice grading, and I thought they'd clean up a little bit. So you get what you pay for, right? So June 6th, what are we, just like a week before the class launched. So now up to the 15th, I purchased some topsoil from a local company. Again, try to support local business. And I had to rent a sod cutter from Home Depot in Verona. And I cut things up, and we used the stuff we cut up here. This took 2 weeks, and it was hard work, really hard work. And then to cover up this mess, we purchased mulch from that same company in which we got the topsoil from, and we were dodging, storms and dealing with heat. And I had other things I had to do as well. There was a camp I was part of on campus, things like that. So this is July 2nd. So now we're thinking, okay, we got to go start picking up the lumber. We did a deal through Menards. So here we are, July 3rd. I think I spent like 8 hours at Menards that day and 2 trips. And here's just some of the materials. The other materials are in the garage. And I laid out and built a wall. I was just excited to get it started. 2 days later, I had all 4 walls built. This is the facing one, and these are the other 3. Again, where you have the water out, we're sweating. It was unpleasant working conditions. That same day, put up the walls, and my wife and my youngest daughter put the house wrap around it. A few days later, I was able to actually extend and put the structure out front. We have a covered area and a 12 by 12 shed, and we had some storms coming in. They were going to be really severe. And so just to protect the wood, we tried to tarp everything, and I even screwed it down to try and keep things protected. Well, it didn't work. It got flooded, and we had to clean it up. So we went from the 9th to the 18th, so 9 days of absolutely, I was putting in, I'm doing this class, I'm doing some other things, but it's been a lot of work. So on the 18th, this is where I got, my oldest daughter was helping out now, and we went a lot faster. And this was taken just about an hour ago. I finished off the roof, the peak, I cut off the sides, I brought in all of my tools and just brought out stuff from the garage, so we had more room in the garage. That's the whole point of it, is to be able to free up the garage because it was really cluttered. And then all of our lawn and garden and all those tools and machinery are all located here. I have to build a custom door. I got to do the trim work, got to put in the fascia metal, I got to cover that up. We're going to paint it, and then the trim work too. So gutters, trim, paint, trim work is what's left. But I got to go back to Menards to do it. So that's been reflecting. But what did I learn? So first of all, always pay for delivery. I was being a cheapskate, and I was thinking, I got a truck, I got a trailer. No, easily pay for the delivery. That was horrible, going there and trying to find everything. And I have to go back one more time. I need to watch more YouTube videos talked to the lumber reps a little bit more about the list of the stuff they gave me. They just kind of just printed it all off and they're like, here you go. That was not cool. The other biggest thing would be wait till fall to do a project like this. It was just, oh man, just way too taxing, too hot, too humid, too many storms, too much rain. Some were severe. I destroyed 3 of my tarps trying to keep up with it. Most importantly, though, and this comes to the lesson here, is that doing something is very different than reading and watching. And I think it was, Iron Mike Tyson who had said everybody has a plan until they get into the ring and they get punched in the mouth. So keeping that in mind, doing is very different than just reading or watching and being told about something. So what I want to do is just kind of go to the website, and the modules, I'm actually I don't want to say happy. I'm pleased. Is that the word? Proud. I'm proud. I'm proud of how I built this course because it's standards and application. And when you look at the standard, we covered a lot of standards, ANSI standards. We looked at NIOSH, Bureau of Labor Statistics. We were all over the place, but mostly we were at the OSHA website, and we used a textbook. So we started out with techniques, and I'd always tried to revisit something from this first week of lectures as I went through, and I hope you guys noticed that. Week 2, we got into OSHA, got deep into OSHA. Obviously, that's kind of my passion because it was my beginnings in this field. Week 3, we actually transitioned into the most frequent causes of injuries and looked at the data from that perspective. And this is when you guys did the accident investigation. Now, that's where we really started doing. And I think a lot of you commented. After each section, I'd ask, what'd you learn? And I think what we found out is that reading about something or hearing about something is very different than doing. Would you agree? And I think that's where things really kind of transitioned in this course. And then, we got into, I focused. Then I broke things down into standard subparts, and we went through kind of all the main ones that you get if you took like an OSHA 30-hour class. Here's the case study. Doing the case study is really the ultimate demonstration, or the ultimate doing, if you will, of everything we did in this course. And I'm really looking forward to reading your reports. What I really want out of this is that you were able to select a technique, apply the technique, collect observations, data, or whatever, and then make a case for doing something to improve. That's it. That's what it's really about. And then I've got all kinds of examples here to look at. I know that helps you guys. What is he expecting? Well, here's a bunch of examples. I had a lot more, but I picked out some of the ones I liked. And then week 5, we continued. We got more into health-related issues, industrial hygiene, ventilation, hearing conservation, respiratory protection, all that kind of stuff. HAZCOM. Yep. So that really rounds things up. Here's the other thing, too. If you're going to be an intern, a safety intern, there's very, very high likelihood that a lot of things we covered in this course could be projects you'll be working on. And then week 6, I dial it back. We just had confined space, HAZWOPER, and PSM. Those are very complex in themselves, could be a course. But I want to touch on them. Make sure at least you get some exposure to it. Then we have the final lecture. Let's look at the syllabus here in a second. But you should be receiving an email from Whitewater or a subsidiary like evaluation department to do the course. Complete it and give me evidence that you did it. I will get a readout, I think, after the due date, which I think is next Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. So that I can give you the 2 points. It's just, if you don't get anything, not your fault. If I get some for some people and not others, I'll try to send out a reminder. But again, this week is going to be busy for me. And then the final exam, it's 50 questions, multiple choice, true, false, open note, open book, open internet. I would use your assignments that you completed. That should help you. There are a few trick questions. I typically don't do that, but couldn't help myself. There's a couple true falses in which read it. Make sure you understand. I wouldn't say they're trick questions. It's just, it can be, I guess. So make sure you read the question very carefully. And again, it's the true false questions. They might be a little tricky. So that's really the course. Now the syllabus, went over it in the pre-course lecture. A syllabus is meant to be a contract between myself and you about what we're planning to do. Never had to hold any student hours. I spoke to a few of you on our own time, and I got some emails from some of you, but that was it. I didn't want to push it. I could tell you guys were really busy, and I was just happy you guys were turning in assignments. I was actually really impressed with the work you guys were doing with the reflection problem solving. That was really great. Each module, I tried to lay out which one of these semester objectives we're trying to reach, and I think we, in multiple ways, in multiple dimensions, we were able to meet all these, and I've got some great evidence, some great artifacts to demonstrate that you guys exceeded our minimum expectation for student learning objectives for our ABET accreditation. So thank you. Here was a breakdown of the assignments. The exams, 10%, the case study report is 15%, so 25% here in the last week. Do the best you can. So here was the layout. Again, week 1, I tried to isolate the course textbook and the application of techniques and things like that. Week 2 was all about OSHA related things. Week 3 really focused on the hazard control hierarchy and then the main causes. We really looked at the data, along with these. You did your accident investigation case study halfway through, kind of like the midterm. Then we really focused on things more relating to the standards. I really hit the standards. A lot of NFPA, a lot of ANSI. I'm excited about that. I'm happy about that we got to do that. And then week 6 starts in 2 days, from when I'm recording this. You may be listening to this and you're like, oh, it was yesterday. Case study is due no later than the 27th, the final exam, which is, again, you have 90 minutes to complete 50 questions. One person completed it already. I think they took 40 minutes. You can check your work and stuff like that. I tried to go through and verify that everything was right. Both due by Sunday night at midnight. So me. As you guys know, I'm on the board of directors for the American Society of Safety Professionals. That's, I dedicate a lot of my volunteer time and effort and resources to them. And so I have the distinct honor and privilege to spend the next 6 days with these 9 individuals. I should say 8 individuals. I'm the 9th. And about 5,000 of my closest friends, safety practitioners, who are going to Orlando to sweat and go to a conference. I'm sorry, I'm not looking forward to the heat and humidity. But these are great people, and I'm excited. Here you see it said it starts in 2 days. I'm leaving in 9 hours. Yeah, 9 hours. I'm going to the airport. Tomorrow at 5 is when my duties kick off. So hopefully I arrive early enough and can change and go. And then I've got stuff from, like I said, 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And then each day I basically start at like 8 a.m., 7:30 a.m. and go straight through until 9, 10 o'clock each night, just with my duties with the board of directors. Got a lot of work to do. And I didn't even get all the prep done that I'm supposed to get done. So it's going to be an exciting week. I do recommend, if you are going into this career, that you try to go to things like this. This is, even though it's considered like a national conference, it's international. We'll have people from overseas come in. And it's the 22nd through 24th, but again, I got to be there on the 20th for some stuff. The 21st is the leadership conference. Then the 22nd and 24th is the actual conference. I present on the 22nd in the morning. I was going to share it with you, but I didn't think it's a presentation called the Safety Rosetta Stone, in which I review the last 5 years of Executive Safety Summit talks to look at topics. And then I'm going to throw it out to the crowd with my friend Jill and ask the crowd, what do you guys think? What are you guys working on? Why are these issues the same things that come up every year? And so that's what it's going to be about. It's going to be very interactive. But anyway, I'm talking too much. This is not goodbye. This is good luck. Thank you for your participation in this course. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you did improve your skills with using the OSHA website, your approaches to safety and everything. Please reach out to me if you ever have questions. Contact me or connect with me on LinkedIn. And yeah, again, appreciate all of your time and effort, and I hope you have a great rest of the summer.